Okay, so let's add a character controller into our world. I've included a package on this week's Moodle. This is a custom controller package. Just ask you to download it. Oh, is that the screen displaying back there? Figure it out. So what this is a custom package I created from my version of Unity, just that has a player controller in it and a camera. So the scripts and everything should be on it already. Yep. So first I'm going to need to extract, because I need the zip to put it up on Moodle. And you can double click just to load it, or we can import a custom package into Unity. So you should see the Unity symbol if it's already associated with it. But no matter, if it doesn't, we can just from Unity go to Assets, import package, custom package. No, keep the same project. And you see there's my prefab, there's my two scripts, movement ORB and follow cam script, and some materials, black and yellow. Just import all of these. Import right here. It's in the assets menu. So I'll show it one more time. So what you're looking for is in assets, import custom package. Oh. Custom package. Yep. Then in your project, you should have a new folder. Black and yellow are not loading up. So you should have a folder called prefabs. And you also got some new scripts, follow cam and movement or beat. You can take a look at each script. You can see I've got some variables. Rigid body control, which, as we were saying, when you control with physics, then you want to use fixed update. So all of your values of speed is your movement speed, turn speed is the speed you turn at. And here are the keys I have set up, W, A, S, D, Q, and E. What is a bool? True or false? Correct. So I'm setting all of these as true or false variables. If you remember our input command, instead of get mouse, it's getting key. So setting this up as true or false, if I check for an if W means is the letter W being pressed, true or false? So it's generally a way, it's one method of setting up inputs as keys, and then you can very easily just go if W, if S, if A, if D. And I won't go through what all these do, but they're just accessing rigid body. I put comments so you can see rotation control, Q and E is to turn, rotate. And there's no jump at the moment. We'll add a jump later. Follow cam, as I said in the notes, we use late update for camera stuff generally. So what it's doing here is I'm calculating the distance between two things. We have a game object target. That's a variable we need to set because the target that the camera is going to follow is the player. We need to set that inside of Unity. So here it's calculating the offset, meaning the distance between the camera and the player, calculating that offset and then maintaining it so it follows. So it subtracts one from the other. The player's transform position and the camera's transform position. Subtract those from each other and you get the distance, the difference. And then all of this stuff is for rotation plus our offset. Okay, so let's put this player inside of our world. And we'll need to fix his materials. They're not, they haven't loaded for some reason. But there, inside of assets, prefabs, you should see player and camera. Just drag your prefab into your scene. You can drag it in here. Or directly into the scene itself, whichever you prefer. No, that's a good point. So with two cameras, it can be an issue. I'm going to remove one of my cameras. Keep this one. Delete this one. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you could add your own model to there. It's just a placeholder. Just a placeholder. And we'll add our own model today. Why not? I've deleted that camera. A little bit more setup to do. Oh no, okay. No, main camera is set up to follow player. That's fine. So I'm just looking through these settings. If I look at my main camera setting, I can see that the target of player has been set. That's good. On player, you should see two variables you can change, speed and turn speed, and that's it. And now we should be able to press play and test to walk around our scene. Keep moving. I can knock things over. And again, this is quite a broken controller. So once we hit things, it might start to go off its axis. Yeah, there's the issues, the spinning issue. Yeah, there's a disconnect between the movement and the position. I think it's probably the constraint, yeah. If I turn off the constraints, then you can fall over, and that causes other problems. Okay, let me just see if we can do anything with these colors. Why are they purple? So I'm making some new materials to fix these ones. These are obviously from an older version and they won't load. So my new, yeah, just a new material. I'll make it black. And yellow. And I can just drag it on to the character here. Just to fix that he has yellow, and he's got some eyes as well. So you know which way he's facing. Okay, and now I can turn and you can see his eyes. Gives you a better sense of which way he's facing. I'm using Q and E to turn. And I can push things around, and then yeah, we get the crazy turning issue. That's because it's not a perfect character controller. We'll work on a better one later in the year. There we go. Camera, can I move that up a little bit? No, it's going to be set at the start. Hey, so the goal for the rest of the class is to make a simple, quick level. Remember our formal elements, we need an objective and we need a procedure. So our procedure is walking without jumping. Our objective is to reach the end without falling. So in order for the falling to matter, we need to have something happen when you fall off, maybe respawn at the start. So let's create a respawn script that does exactly that. Basically, you want to find out if an object falls off and below a certain level, then it's going to respawn somewhere back at the start. So yeah, let's actually make a respawn point first. So I'll make a new empty, game object empty. I'll call it respawn point. Mhm. I'm going to give this an icon so I can see it, little green icon. And mine is created way down here, away from all the action. I'm just going to put it back at 0. Let's say 0, 10, 0. There's my respawn point, right near the start. And I'm going to add a script to the player that says if you fall below a certain level, you'll be sent back to the respawn point. So player selected, I'm going to add a new script. write down, so not scripts, go to new script. Let's call it respawn. We can just open this up in the editor. I'll make a public game object, capital G. I'll make a method, void, we'll say reset position. I'll say game object lowercase dot transform dot position equals respawn point dot transform dot position. So we're going to call that based on whatever is happening. So we could do this if the player had touched something that was hazardous, they died technically, we could reset their position then, or if their health bar had gone below 0, if int health is less than or equal to 0, then it could be, oh, time to reset position. Or we can just detect its vector position, its y value, and if it falls below a certain level, then reset, it means it's fallen below. I won't need start for this. I'm going to remove this method entirely. Going to delete this whole method. I won't need it for this script. And then an update, I can just check for the condition. Let's say game object dot transform dot position dot y is less than or equal to -1. Then we run reset position. And we'll put a debug in there to make sure things are working. So let's test this out. You see my current value of my character is 0. Oh, let's hope it doesn't fall to -1 here. Press play. And you see it's my Y position of my character is at 0.048. If it falls to -1, it should reset back to the spawn. And it didn't. Bingo. The variable respawn point has not been assigned. So yeah, look on your script, and if you see anywhere that has none, that means you missed something. Respawn point is none game object. Looking for a game object, we have one right here. Respawn point. Or E. Respawn point. Walk, walk, walk. And I'm back. I'm back to where I was. So just as soon as I get to -1, and that'll apply to any object I put respawn on. If I put it on these bricks here, add component, I'll put the respawn script on every single one of these bricks. load in my respawn point. And now any of these bricks, if I want to grab one, they all have the respawn script. Off it goes, and back in the center. I can grab all of the cube tower. All of them fall, and then pop, pop, pop. They're all popping back into that center place. Well, I can't grab them all, because some of them are falling. But off they go, and then pop, 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 back into place. I can move the respawn point higher, and again, grab my cube tower. Ooh. Off they go, and pop back into place. So they're all respawning back in the same place. And my character is going to do the same. Yeah, nothing I can do about the rotation. He's just going to keep rotating. But he's back. And while we're here, we should probably start exploring our Blender constructions as well. We still have our village. Bing, right there. Yep. They're not responding? No. Yeah, there is my village. Let's see if it's, walkable. I mean, we didn't put a door in the center, but hey, what are you going to do? So in order for these to be walkable, I need to add mesh colliders to the objects. Let me look at my village. I've got a ground, mesh render, a null collider. I'll add mesh collider. And there you can see that's the collider. I should be able to walk over that now. Same with the wall, because it's a custom object. Add component mesh collider. And that's a box. That could be a box collider. Box collider. Of the house. Ooh. Mesh. So anything that's more complicated than a box, you'll be able to create a mesh collider. Yep. Any object that has that script will act under it. Now with mesh colliders, I should be able to see this and walk around it. There we go. The hill. Oh, can I make it over? I mean, that's the next thing to do. Man, there's my village. Mm. Yeah. Oh, he's moving with your control. Yeah. I mean, that's the reason mine is not falling over is that I've added these constraints, but that's why we're getting this constant spinning. But if you want your monster to stay upright, you can add these. So I can do it to my monster right here. I'll shrink him. So here he is. And under rigid body, there's just a little controller for freezing rotation. If you freeze him on the X and the Y, he won't fall over. Or X and Z. Now there is. He will never fall over. Unless it's sideways. But not the perfect method for doing things. But now I'm stuck in this. Oh. If I freeze rotation on the Y, I can still rotate and it doesn't spin too much. Okay, that appears to be the solution. Add the Y freeze on the player. It's exactly what you could do, yeah. Hmm. No, on the camera. All the cameras on the camera, and the target is the player. Okay, because I don't want to bring the whole Blender file in with me, I'm just going to export this as FBX, write an FBX file. It's a nice stable format that lets you explore a model with material colors and animations on it. Other standards are Wavefront OBJ, which is like one of the oldest 3D formats you can use, but FBX will work just fine. And I'm going to limit just to what I have selected. Okay, Hatman FBX. And week 8 Unity scripting. Oh, slightly gooier. Actually, looks a little bit better. I've just added the modifier here. Subdivision surface, it just subdivides everything and smooths it over a little bit. There's a funny little worm man. I like that better. I think I'll use that. We go further? No. Okay, Hatman. That'll be my variant. I'll try both versions and see how they work. Export, FBX, Hatman, smooth. Add them the way I would any other asset. Import new asset. I'll bring them both in. Hatman and Hatman smooth. You can see they've come in with their colors and in the right orientation. And to make them our player character, all we have to do is add the same things we had to the player here. It's got a collider, and it's got a rigid body, and it's got a script, 2 scripts. His size is a bit big. There we go, that's about right. I'll just rotate them. Oop. On the white, let's go 90. Yeah. There's a character right there. I've accidentally just given him arms and a leg. But hey, that's iteration. You figure things out as you go. But what I can do now is, rather than remaking the whole character controller, I can just modify the one we have. Player on camera, main camera. There's our player. There's our Half-Man Smooth. I'm just going to nest him inside here. Let's just nest him on the player. The same way these eyes are just nested. There's no script or anything holding them there. They're just nested. So now he's nested. If I press play, he's going to follow along. I don't need to worry about setting up his mesh collider or anything. He's going to use the capsule collider and no any difference. So there he is. He's wandering through. And then all I need to do is just disable the mesh render of the capsule. Oh, and now he's my character. And he's moving through with a couple of floating eyeballs. Where are you? Where are you, player? And yeah, his collider is just this little ball. But he can make his way through the world. Okay, he's entered. On the constant rotation, I can fix that. It's the freezing rotation. I should have frozen on the Y as well. Okay, yeah. Now he's got eyes. yeah, all my changes reverted. I'll just refix those. Yes, yeah, exactly. Pretty cool guy. Hatman. So yeah, main changes I made, added the freeze rotation constraint, disabled the renderer for the capsule, and I just nested my Hatman in here. I moved the eyes.